Om Vakratunda
वक्रतुण्ड
Mahakaya
महाकाय
Surya Samapprabha
निर्विघ्नं
Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva
सर्वकार्येषु
Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gururdevo Maheshwaraha Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai
तस्मै
Shri Gurave
श्रीगुरवे
Namaha
नमः। ॐ
Om
सहना
Sahana Bhavatu Sahano
सहनौ भुनक्तु
Bhunaktu
सह
Sahaviryam
वीर्यङ्करवावहै
Karavavahai Tejasvidhavadhitamastama Vidvishavahai Om Shanti 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 Om Shri Paramatmane Namaha
ॐ श्री परमात्मने नमः।
अथ द्वितीयोऽध्यायः
अथ द्वितीयोऽध्यायः।
श्रीभगवानुवाच
श्रीभगवानुवाच
Last shloka number 72. Previous shloka we saw vihaya kamanyas sarvan pumanscharati nispृगः निर्ममो निरहंकारः सशांतिम् अधिगच्छति. So it's concluding. So ragadvesha, that is nothing but the kama, the desires, having given up the desires, the binding desires, the desires which are of two types, binding and non-binding. So having given up the desires, binding desires, ragadvesha with regard to the vishayas, the person is the prajna who moves in the world of this objects, sense objects, without any longing, and also nirmamaha nirankaraha sashanti adhigachati. He gains the shanti, he discovers the shanti, which is atma, which is oneself. So when Krishna talked to Arjuna, and when Shankaracharya wrote his commentaries, okay, this was connected to previous one, there was doership. But neither Krishna nor Shankaracharya looked upon themselves as a doer. Doership for the first person is just doing. The notion I am the doer is not there. This means the Sita Prajna continues to be Brahma. So Bhadita Agankara. Agankara is Bhadita. The Agankara Bhadita. The person who moves around in the world of the sense objects, but not carried away by them. It means the Aham Karta, iti, that Abhimana is negated. When that is not there, the Prajna continues to be, to revel in Swarupa, Brahma, continues to be Brahma. Therefore, Krishna concluded, having talked about Siddha Prajna, the last shloka, he concludes. Let us read. Esha Brahmi Sthiti Partha
एषा ब्राह्मी स्थितिः पार्थ
Nainam Prapya Vimuhyati
नैनां प्राप्य विमुह्यति
Sthitva Syamantakaalepi
स्थित्वा स्यामान्धकालेऽपि
Brahma Nirvana Mrichyati.
ब्रह्मनिर्वाणमुच्यते.
E Partha, Sambodhana, E Partha. Yesham Brahmi Sthitihi. This is the Brahmi Sthiti. This is the Siddha Pragya Lakshanam. Having gained this knowledge, Nainam, na enam, Nainam, Vritisandhi. Having gained this, a person is no more deluded. Na vimugyati. Esham Brahmi Sthitihi. Sthitim Prapya. Brahmi Sthitim Prapya. Brahma Sthiti. That is the Jnanam. Having gained this knowledge, wisdom, that is a Brahmi Sthiti. Abiding in this Jnanam, Jnana Nishta. He is not deluded again. Stitva Syam Antakalepi Brahma Nirvana Richati. Antakalepi. Even at the end of life. Antakala, Maranakala. Maranakalepi. Even at the end of one's life. Being in this, the one who works for Brahmi Sthiti, even if he gets this Sthiti at the end of this life, he gets moksha, Brahma Nirvanam, Richati Gachati. Richati is Gachati. Gachati goes is gain. Here there is no going involved. There is no physical movement involved. Not going anywhere. It is going is only in the terms of knowing. Brahma Nirvanam Richati. He gains Brahma, and that is he gains moksha ityartaha. Brahma Nirvanam. Nirvanam, the word is important. Brahma Nirvanam. Here we will read, we'll see what it is, the word Nirvanam means. This is what is meant by being steady in Brahma. So this is the conclusion mantra. Therefore, Esha Brahmi Sthitihi, having talked about the Prajna Lakshanam, this is the Brahmi Sthiti. This is the Sthiti, the status of being one with Brahma. A Partha, having gained this Sthiti, one is not deluded. Na vimukhyati. No more delusion, no more coming back. Having gained wisdom, one cannot become an ajnani. He has to be jnani only. There is no choice. He is not deluded. Even if he wants, he cannot be deluded. One is not deluded. There is no coming back. Remaining therein, even at the end of one's life, one gains liberation. Therefore, one has to work for moksha till the end. Because at the end of one's life, Marana Kaliyapi, if one gains this jnanam, by which person becomes liberated. The steady knowledge, jnana nishta, that had been the topic of Bhagavan's Krishna's teaching from the beginning, is steadfastness in Brahma, Brahma nishta. Brahmani nishta, Brahma nishta. Being with Brahma, that is jnana vidyartaha. In between, Karma Yoga was pointed out. And Arjuna's question concerning the definition of Sattva Prajna was answered. The same steady wisdom being again mentioned. So three topics were discussed in the second chapter. First is Sankhya Yoga, then Karma Yoga, finally Sattva Prajna Lakshana. Lakshanani. That is Jnana Nishta. Jnana Nishta means steady knowledge. Brahma Nishta is one whose knowledge is that Atma is Brahma. It is this knowledge called Brahma Nishta that is being praised in this last shloka of the second chapter. Jnane Nishta, Jnana Nishta. Brahma Nishta is Brahmani Nishta, one whose knowledge is that Atma is Brahma. That is knowledge. So this knowledge is being praised here. Sthiti refers to this Nishta or steadfastness in the knowledge. Sthitihi. Addressing Arjuna as Partha, the son of Pratha, Krishna told Arjuna that being a Siddha Prajna is a state, Sthiti, Avastha of being in Brahma, born of the knowledge of Brahma. because of the knowledge of Brahma, is in Brahma Avastha, Brahma Nishta. However, once we use the word state, there is a problem because being only a state, it will not always be the same. Why it is said state? Because Jagrata Avastha, Sushupti Avastha, similarly, Brahma Avastha, Brahma, is there any new state Avastha? No. Previously something was not, and now this something is in a particular state. Later, using the same logic, it will be lost when another state is gained, just as previous state was lost when this state was gained. Jagrata Avastha is lost when you go to Sushupti Avastha. Sushupti Avastha is lost when you come to Jagrata Avastha. Is this Avastha here? No. When the waking state goes, dream comes. When the dream state goes, sleep comes. When sleep goes, waking comes. When this particular life is gone, another life comes. Because of centrifugal force, we find that certain things are in particular state or position. And when the force is gone, they are no more in the same position. Similarly, any state is subject to loss, subject to change. Otherwise, it would not be called a state. It is important to note that we are not discussing samadhi here, which is a state. Samadhi avastha. The question about what happens after one comes out of samadhi often arises. Nirvikalpa samadhi. Samadhi here is nirvikalpa samadhi. The final stage of samadhi, wherein there are no thought modifications whatsoever, the nirvikalpa samadhi is a state, and therefore it will be lost. Here, Swamiji clarifying this nirvikalpa samadhi. People think that is the state required for moksha. If it is a state, then it will be subject to loss. Subject to loss. So it becomes one of the state like Jagrata Avastha, Sushupti Avastha, similarly Samadhi Avastha. So if it is one more state, therefore this Jnana Avastha is not one more state. It is the Swarupa. It is in spite of all the state. That is what in Mandukya it says Turiya Avastha, Chaturtha Avastha, Turiya Avastha iti. Since Krishna used the word sthiti here, one may question how long this state will last, if indeed it is ever gained. This word state is used in this shloka only for want of a better word and doesn't mean something that will be lost. This nishta is knowledge of Brahma. So Brahmi Avastha, Brahmi state is not like the Sushupti Avastha or Swapna Avastha or Nirvikalpa Samadhi Avastha. This Avastha it is not that Atma goes into Brahma and sits there. All that is there is Atma, the self, and self happens to be Brahma. Therefore, it is something to be understood. Therefore, this Avastha, this Nishta is knowledge of Brahma. So it is in all the Avastha. So it is not one more Avastha. It is the Avastha. It is this Avastha, the state which is without being a state, not a separate state. Because of this, all the states are state. All the state is a state. Apusushipta Avastha, Jagrata Avastha, all the Avastha are because of this Avastha. Those are Nitya, but this Avastha is not Nitya. It is Satyam, Brahmanishta, because it is Swarupa Avastha. Therefore, it is not it's not something, a state which will be lost. Therefore, he says here the word Avastha is to be understood. Our state should not take in the ordinary sense here. Avastha, Sthitihi. Sthitihi is equal to Avastha. So it is here we have to understand the meaning of the word Avastha properly. Further, he says, continues the same topic. Knowledge of Brahma is not a state. There is no Brahma other than Atma. Atma is Brahma. If Atma is Brahma, it is there in all the Avastha. Therefore, it is a matter for understanding. It is not a state, it is knowledge. So, Sthitihi is equal to Jnanam Ityartaha. That is what I'm trying to say here. Brahmi Sthitihi is Brahma Jnanam, abiding in that knowledge, gaining which the person is no more deluded. Nainam Prapya Vimukhyati. Because knowledge is not a state. The wise person never dons the cloak of delusion again. Therefore, once old ignorance doesn't come back, such notions that were based on ignorance, such as I am a jiva, a mortal, a doer, an enjoyer, also doesn't return. You may fret about whether the false notions will come back again. You may think, suppose the doer, the enjoyer comes back. Again, I will have all the old problems. What will I do? I will have to find another guru. My present guru will send me away because having taught me once, he will not want to teach me again. What will I do? Again, I will have to come back. I will have to assume another body and everything will start all over again. There is no such problem because what we're discussing here is not a state. It is knowledge. Knowledge gained is gained for good, gained forever. Atma is Brahma. When it's Sarupa, its nature is understood. There is no more Jiva. Jivatvam goes away. Jivatvam Mithya is understood to be Mithya. The individual is gone. There are no more false notions about oneself, and the whole delusion doesn't return. Therefore, it is not a avastha state in the ordinary sense. It is knowledge. It is never too late to gain self-knowledge. Antakale, sitvasya antakalepi brahmanirvanam rachati. That is explained here. It is never too late to gain self-knowledge. Krishna then said that remaining in this knowledge of Brahma, the wise person gains moksha in this life itself. Living, he or she is liberated. Also, there is one more piece of information given. While living is liberated, and liberation is possible even for a person who is in the last lap of his or her life. The person may be very old. The ears may no longer hear. The eyes may not see. The liver may not work. The heart may be palpitating. And the person always be scratching his or her head in order to remember things, none of which matters at all. Even if a person is old and is in the last days of his or her life, the person can know, helped by all life's experiences. The old problems are no longer there, and everything has been tried anyway. It is only those who cannot even try any longer who tend to think of themselves as lonely. I cannot go out boating or fishing. I can no longer catch any salmon. They move too fast for me. Now it is deer season, and all the deer escape from me. I cannot even drive a car, and I'm in an old age home. No one comes to me except at Christmas time. Even then, my family asks me how I am and goes away again. For such people, these are big problems. Whereas if a person has some discrimination and has learned what life can teach, nothing is really a problem for him or her anymore. Life is meant for all this. Children are born and call you daddy and then granddaddy. When you are a daddy, you are supposed to be a Viveki, one who can discriminate the real from the unreal. And when you are a granddaddy, you are supposed to be a grand Viveki. Naturally, then such a person is ready. If all the people go away and he is left with himself, it should not be a problem. By now, the person should know that nothing is really with him or her except some social security, perhaps. There is no other security. Then, having some viveka, if the person listens to the Shastram, the knowledge will stick. Why? Because the person is mature. Moksha need not take time. An old person already gone through all the experiences that make one wiser. For such a person, one sentence, if presented properly, is enough. He or she should be mature by this time and therefore should have no emotional problems or ragadveshas. This kind of mature person, even though close to death, can gain the knowledge. Therefore, even if a chance is that till the end of this life is being said here, jnanam can happen at any moment of life, even at the end of life. Antakale api. Earlier in this chapter, we saw the story about King Parikshit that bears this out. A curse was placed on him that he would die in a week. He went to Vyasa's son Shuka, who was a jnani, and told him that he had only 1 week to live. In response, Shuka just laughed. Why are you laughing? The king asked. I am going to die in a week. Shuka then explained why he was laughing. You are lucky, he said. You say you are going to die in a week. This means that you know that you are going to be alive for 7 days, whereas I myself have no such guarantee. Since you are sure you are going to live for 7 days, it is definitely a matter for celebration. You are lucky, my God. You can be Brahman by that time. 7 days are more than enough time to change one's whole perspective. And sure enough, in 7 days, this king became a jnani. Even if you are suffering from a terminal disease or very old, it makes no difference. You can gain moksha, liberation. Shankaracharya then completed the sentence. The person about to die can gain moksha. Anyone can. Even as a brahmachari, before one enters the second stage of life, which is marriage, a person who takes to this study can gain moksha. Then, for as long as he or she lives, the person lives in the knowledge of Brahma. When the ears hear, the eyes see, the mind is thinking, and the memory is a possibility, knowledge can definitely be gained. The person whose memory is gone, whose eyes don't see, and whose ears do not hear, can gain this knowledge. All the more possible is a knowledge for the one whose body is healthy and whose mind is bright. There being no doubt that knowledge is all that is to be gained for the one to be liberated. The second chapter comes to an end. So the essence is Antakale api Brahma Nirvanam Richati Stitvasyam Antakale Pia. Gaining this knowledge even at the end of this life, one becomes free. So that is the goal. With this chapter is concluded. It's a big thing they have done. Then finally, the chapter concludes with the statement. Let us read this. Om Tat Sat.
Om Tat Sat.
It is Srimad Bhagavad Gita Su Upanishadsu.
Iti Srimad Bhagavad Gita Su Upanishadsu
Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre.
Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre
Shri Krishna Arjuna Sambhade.
Shri Krishna Arjuna Sambhade
Sankhya Yogo Nama Dvitiyodhyayaha.
Sankhya Yogo Nama Dvidiyo Dhyayaha.
So the meaning is Om Tat Sat. Tat Sat. Tat Sat Brahma. Tat is Brahma. Tat is Sarvanama. It is Brahmanama. Om also Brahmanama. Om Brahma. That is a Sat. It is the reality. It is Srimad Bhagavad Gita Su Upanishadsu. Bhagavad Gita is an Upanishad. Each chapter considered to be an Upanishad. Therefore, Bhagavad Gita Su Upanishadsu. Upanishadsu it is in Bhagavachanam. And it is it has a topic is Brahma Vidya, knowledge of Brahma, Yoga Shastram. The subject matter of the Gita is Brahma as well as Yoga, Karma Yoga. Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre. And it is in the form of the dialogue between Krishna and Arjuna. Krishna Arjuna Sambhade. And the name of the chapter is Sankhya Yoga, second chapter. Therefore, second chapter with the name Sankhya Yoga ends here, which has the topic of Brahma Bhagavad Gita Upanishadsu Brahma Vidyaya. The topic, subject matter is Brahma Vidya and Yoga Shastra, Karma Yoga. It is concluded. The statement is explained elaborately in the first chapter itself. Therefore, it is not further explained. Then the next chapter begins, chapter 3. Chapter 3 is called Karma Yoga. Let us start and we'll continue later. Chapter 3, the topic of Karma. The second chapter, 3 topics were discussed. Jnana Yoga, there is Sankhya Yoga, Karma Yoga, and Siddha Prajna Lakshanani. Now the Karma Yoga is further elaborated. Why? Because Arjuna asked a question. If Arjuna had not asked a question, then this chapter would not have come. But the second chapter itself, Gita, is over. Because Arjuna asked a question, he had a doubt with regard to Jnanam and Karma, Sankhya and Yoga. Therefore, he asked a question. To answer the question, To answer this question, this chapter has come into being this chapter and also the successive chapters as a sequel to the Arjuna's question and answer. So in the form of answer, question and answer, because it is Samvada, the form of question and answer. One question and elaborate answer. Again, further question and further elaboration. So therefore, the question of Arjuna becomes the hetu for this chapter, next chapter, Karma Yoga. In the previous chapter, beginning at shloka number 55, Tata Pragya Lakshanam, Lord Krishna pointed out that a wise person, Istha Prajna, is one who gives up all desires, being happy with oneself in oneself. This is the ultimate human end and is what is meant by moksha, liberation or freedom. Giving up desires implies giving up all activities also. An activity is pursued because there is a desire to accomplish a given end. If there is no desire to accomplish a given end, there is no pursuit. Arjuna wanted Shreyas. Shishyastegam Shadivam Tvam Prapannam. Yet Shreyaha, Shreyas Chat Nishitam Brugitarme. Shishyastegam Shadimam Tvam Prapannam. Iti Arjuna he asked in the second chapter. You please tell me what is Shreyas in the 7th shloka. So Shreyas means moksha, liberation. Arjuna wanted Shreyas and understood that in order to gain it, knowledge alone was required and karma was of no use. This was the understanding of Arjuna. Krishna explained all this when Arjuna asked him to describe a Sita Prajna. Before that, Krishna talked about the nature of Atma being free from any limitation. That is Sankhya Yoga. Then he asked Arjuna to listen to what he had to say about Karma Yoga. That is from the 39th shloka. He said, Yogeto Imam Shunu. So far I have talked about Sankhya. Now you start listening to Yoga, that is Karma Yoga, 39th shloka. Yeshate Bhagita Sankhya Buddhir Yogetu Imam Shunu. During this discussion, Krishna asked Arjuna to perform action remaining rooted in Karma Yoga. Yogastha Kuru Karmani Sangam Tyaktva. Iti. Second chapter, 48th shloka. Yogastha Kuru Karmani Sangam Tyaktva Dhananjaya Siddhya Siddhyo Samobhutva Samattam Yoga Uchate. The definition of Karma Yoga also given. This mandate, this command confused Arjuna. Should I continue to do karma or should I pursue knowledge? He wondered. If I pursue knowledge, I will definitely gain moksha. Whereas if I perform karma, I will be bound by karma phala. Every karma yoga is not adequate for moksha. How then am I going to gain moksha if I perform action? Arjuna had made it very clear to Krishna early in the second chapter that he wanted moksha, Shreyaha. He told Krishna in so many words, Shishyastegam Sharimam Tvam Prapannam, I am your student, please teach me so that I will gain Shreyas, moksha. Arjuna naturally expected Krishna to tell him exactly what would give him moksha. Krishna pointed out that knowledge could be moksha, and thereby implying that all karma was to be renounced in order to pursue knowledge. Why then was Krishna advising to do karma? Having said that knowledge would give moksha, knowledge would give Arjuna moksha, Krishna then said, get up and fight. What did this mean? Did Krishna think that Arjuna was unfit for moksha? Or did he think that karma yoga would also result in moksha? Arjuna wanted to know what Krishna's contention really was. If jnanam gives moksha, then why should I perform karma? And that too, this ghora karma, the yuddha. The situation was like going to a doctor being told, the situation was like a man going to a doctor being told that he had diabetes and being advised to start and end each day with sweet rolls and pastries. Such a prescription would result only in a quick death and is not at all befitting the man's condition. Here, Arjuna wanted moksha, absolute freedom, and karma was prescribed for him. He knew that the karmas enjoined by the Veda were strictly for achieving results within samsara, a life of limitation, a life of becoming, and that they would not deliver him from samsara. Krishna himself had said to Arjuna, may you not get involved with any karma unfolded in the Veda. Arjuna was therefore confused by all these conflicting statements. Since moksha was said to be purely in the form of knowledge, he concluded that he should go for knowledge. And if he was to pursue knowledge, why do karma? This was why Arjuna wanted to become a renunciate, a monk, and renounce all activities so that he could dedicate his life to the pursuit of knowledge. Giving up everything may go after this knowledge. Sanyasya Shravanam Kuryat, the popular statement. The sannyasis the Arjuna had seen had all given up everything to pursue knowledge. He therefore thought that if he was interested in moksha, he should do the same. This is the case for anything one wants in life. If money is what you are interested in, you must give up a lot of things and go after money. Or if you want power, you should go after it to the exclusion of all else, spending whatever money is necessary to get it. You cannot expect to retain your money and at the same time gain power. No election was ever won that way. However, after gaining power, whether you are able to regain the money is a different issue. Therefore, Arjuna thought, if I want knowledge, it is only reasonable that I should give up karma action. For a person to pursue knowledge in a dedicated fashion, giving up everything is not an unreasonable requirement. This is why a life of renunciation, sannyasa, loomed so large in Arjuna's mind and was all that he wanted. In his eyes, sannyasa seemed to be the only destination and was the right thing to do. But Krishna said, having decided to fight, please get up and fight. The 37th shloka, that is before the Karma Yoga. Having taught Jnanam, Tasma Duttishta Kaunteya, Yuddhaya Kritanischayaha iti. Therefore, Arjuna is confused and is going to ask a question that among the two, the knowledge and the action, you tell me one thing very clearly for sure. Which one should I pursue? Because your statements seems to be confusing. That's what it's going to ask. That from the first shloka. I think there's an introduction to the first shloka. It's a long introduction. We'll continue. We'll continue in the next class. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamadachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Dhanyavadaha.